Taurus, I need to tell you something that will profoundly shake everything you believe about your life. God is about to take you from your family, not in the way you imagine when you hear these words, not through tragedy, separation, or conflict, but through something much more powerful and transformative. He will awaken within you a force so intense, a purpose so clear, a mission so urgent that you will no longer be able to live as before. You will become such a different person that even if you are physically present, your energy, your vibration, your focus will be completely focused on something greater. This is no ordinary warning. It's a revelation about the divine plan that has been silently woven into your life for years. While you were building your comfort zone, creating your routines, and settling into the predictability of your family relationships, God was preparing you for something extraordinary, something so big that it will require you to leave behind the small, safe version of yourself that your family knows and loves. The painful truth I need to tell you is this: your family, without realizing it, has been one of the biggest obstacles to you fulfilling your destiny. Not out of malice, not out of lack of love, but because they need you to be small to feel secure. They need you to remain predictable, controllable, always available for their needs. And you, being the faithful and dedicated Taurus that you are, have sacrificed your spiritual growth so as not to disappoint them. But the time has come when God will no longer allow this sacrifice. Are you ready to discover why He needs to energetically separate you from your family so that you can finally become who you were always destined to be? For years, you've probably felt a growing restlessness, an inner voice whispering that there's something bigger waiting for you. But every time that calling grew stronger, your family, consciously or unconsciously, found a way to pull you back into the role you've always played in the family system. Perhaps through urgent needs that only you could address. Perhaps through emotional guilt when you tried to pursue your own dreams. Perhaps through criticism disguised as concern when you showed signs of wanting to expand your life. They did it because they love you in their own way. Because change is scary, even when it's for the better. Because it's easier to keep you in the familiar role they know than to support your transformation into something they can't predict or control. But true love, divine love, doesn't try to limit or control. It liberates, it expands, it encourages the person to become the best version of themselves, even if that means difficult changes for everyone involved. Taurus, the reason God is removing you from your current family dynamic is because He has a specific mission for you that cannot be fulfilled while you are emotionally entangled in family patterns that drain your energy and limit your vision. You have been chosen for something that goes far beyond the confines of your home, your family's day-to-day problems, and the small, repetitive worries that have consumed your attention for so long. In all cases, the process will be painful at first, because you'll have to choose between remaining the safe, predictable version of yourself your family expects, or embracing the powerful, transformative person God is calling you to be. And here's the hardest part: you can't be both at the same time. You can't fulfill your divine destiny and continue to keep all your family members comfortable and at peace. A choice will have to be made, and God has already decided which choice you will make, even if you don't know it yet. Do you have the courage to temporarily disappoint the people you love, so as not to eternally disappoint God's plan for your life? The transformation that's coming isn't something you can negotiate or postpone. It's not something you can sugarcoat so as not to upset anyone. It's a complete revolution in your identity, your priorities, and the way you use your time and energy. And this revolution will send ripples through your entire family structure. Some people will understand and support you, others will resist and try to convince you to back down. But you won't be able to go back, because once you experience the feeling of living aligned with your divine purpose, everything else will seem small and meaningless. Over the next few months, you'll begin to notice how certain family dynamics that once seemed normal begin to deeply bother you. repetitive conversations about problems that never get resolved, excessive worry about issues that, in the grand scheme of things, are irrelevant, attempts to involve you in dramas and conflicts that drain your energy without producing any constructive results. Your soul will begin to reject these energies because you're being prepared to operate at a much higher frequency. And it is precisely at this moment that God will intervene directly in your life. He will create situations where you will have to choose between meeting the usual family demands or following the higher calling that is beating in your heart. At first, you may try to balance the two, trying to please everyone and not hurt anyone. But you will soon realize that this is impossible. The divine path requires total dedication, absolute focus, and the courage to disappoint those who preferred you small. Taurus, one of the most liberating things you'll discover in this process is that your family survived before you were born and will continue to survive even when you stop carrying the emotional weight of all your family problems. In fact, when you energetically withdraw from family dramas and dependencies, you'll make room for other family members to take on responsibilities they've always delegated to you. You'll discover that in many cases, you were hindering other people's growth by always solving everything for them. The energetic separation God is orchestrating is not punishment or abandonment. It is mutual liberation. You will be freed to fulfill your greater purpose, and your family will be freed from the overdependence they have developed on you. Some family members may initially feel abandoned or hurt, but over time they will realize that you have become an inspiration to them. They will see that it is possible to live an extraordinary life, that it is possible to pursue dreams that seemed impossible, that it is possible to be faithful to the divine calling even when it requires courage and determination. The process unfolding in your life is not unique. Throughout history, God has chosen specific people for missions that require them to temporarily or permanently separate themselves from conventional family patterns. Not because He doesn't value family, but because some missions are so important to the greater good of humanity that they cannot be limited by the boundaries of a specific family unit. You were chosen to be one of these pioneers, one of these trailblazers who shows the world that it's possible to live by higher principles, even when it means making choices others don't understand. Your family may not understand now, but in the future, they will be proud to have been part of the story of someone who had the courage to follow a divine calling, even when it seemed impossible or risky. During this transition period, you may experience moments of intense guilt. Moments where you wonder if you're being selfish, if you're abandoning the people you need most. This guilt is natural, but it's also one of the last mechanisms your mind uses to try to keep you stuck in old patterns. The truth is, you're not abandoning anyone. You're simply ceasing to carry responsibilities that were never yours to carry. Your family learned to depend on you because you allowed it to. You accepted the role of solving problems that weren't yours, of carrying emotional burdens that belong to others, of sacrificing your dreams to maintain family peace. But God is showing you that there's a difference between true love and codependency disguised as love. True love encourages growth in each person, even when that growth creates uncomfortable changes. Taurus, in the coming months, you'll begin to receive clear signs that it's time to prioritize your divine calling above family expectations. These could be opportunities that require you to relocate geographically. They could be spiritual insights that make you realize you have a greater mission in the world. They could be relationships or connections that show you that there's a whole world of people who will value and support who you truly are, rather than trying to keep you limited by fear or insecurity. When these signs begin to appear, don't ignore them or try to rationalize them. They are God actively working in your life to guide you away from familiar limitations and toward your true destiny. And here's something important you need to understand. God isn't asking your permission to make these changes. He's preparing you for them, but they will happen anyway. Your only choice is whether to cooperate with the process or try to resist it. If you cooperate, the transition will be smoother and you'll be able to maintain loving relationships with your family, even in a completely new dynamic. If you resist, the process may become more dramatic and painful for everyone involved. But the end result will be the same. You'll be energetically separated from the family patterns that have been hindering your spiritual growth. God's mission for you requires you to operate from a base of personal power, not familial obligation. It requires you to make decisions based on your direct connection to the divine, not on what your family expects or approves. It requires you to use your talents and abilities to positively impact the world, not just to maintain harmony within your home. And here's the most beautiful part of all this. When you begin to live from this new foundation of spiritual power, your family will begin to see you completely differently. Instead of seeing you as someone who is always available to solve their problems, they will begin to see you as someone who inspires them to solve their own. Instead of seeing you as someone who must always put family needs first, they will begin to respect you as someone with an important mission in the world. Some family members may never fully understand your choices, and that's okay. You weren't put on earth to live within the limitations of other people's understanding, even when those people are part of your family. You were put here to fulfill a specific divine purpose, and that purpose cannot be negotiated or adapted to accommodate anyone's fears and insecurities. Taurus, one of the most powerful revelations you'll have in this process is discovering how many of your family obligations were actually ways of avoiding facing your own greatness. It's easier and safer to stay busy solving other people's problems than to have the courage to pursue your own dreams. It's more comfortable to be needed within a familiar family dynamic than to risk discovering who you can become when you're not limited by those expectations. But God didn't create you to live a small, safe life. He created you to make a difference in the world, to use your unique gifts in ways that inspire others to pursue their spiritual missions. And to do that, you need to be free from the emotional bonds that have kept you trapped in a limited role within your family. The upcoming separation doesn't mean you won't love or care for your family anymore. It means you'll love and care from a place of strength and choice, not obligation and dependence. You'll be able to offer genuine support when needed, rather than automatically being responsible for all family problems. You'll be able to celebrate your family's victories without feeling responsible for creating them. You'll be able to relate to each family member as complete individuals, rather than as extensions of your own responsibilities. Over the next few months, carefully observe how you feel when you're with your family versus how you feel when you're alone or with people who support your dreams and ambitions. Notice the difference in energy, the difference in your level of inspiration and motivation. This comparison will help you understand why God needs to energetically separate you from dynamics that drain your life force. Also, pay attention to the moments when you catch yourself diminishing your dreams or hiding your ambitions to avoid upsetting family members who prefer you to be predictable and controllable. These moments are opportunities to practice small acts of authenticity that will prepare you for the greater transformation that is coming. The divine calling growing within you will no longer accept being silenced or minimized to maintain family peace. It will become so strong, so urgent, so impossible to ignore, that you will have no choice but to prioritize it above all other considerations. And when this happens, your family will understand that this is not a choice against them, but a choice in favor of God's greater plan for your life. Taurus, in the coming days and weeks, you may begin to feel a growing anticipation, a sense that something momentous is about to happen in your life. This feeling isn't anxiety or worry. It's your soul recognizing that the moment of your spiritual liberation is approaching. It's your spirit preparing to finally live the extraordinary life that was always possible for you. When the divine calling fully manifests in your life, you will feel a clarity and determination you've never experienced before. You will know, without a shadow of a doubt, what your mission is and what you need to do to fulfill it. And this clarity will be so powerful that all familiar objections, all fears, all the excuses you used to keep yourself small will simply disappear. The family that truly loves you will eventually understand and support your transformation, even if they struggle to adjust to the changes at first. Those who continue to try to keep you limited will reveal that their love was actually a form of control based on their own insecurities. And this revelation, as painful as it may be, will be one of the greatest gifts you could receive, because it will free you from unnecessary guilt. Remember, God isn't taking you away from your family to punish you or them. He's doing it because He loves you so much that He can't bear to see you waste your extraordinary potential trying to fit into a role that's always been too small for your soul. He's doing it because the world needs what you have to offer, and that offering can't happen while you're emotionally entangled in family dynamics that sap all your creative energy. The coming transformation will give you access to levels of personal fulfillment, spiritual satisfaction, and positive impact on the world that you can't even imagine right now. But to access all of this, you must be willing to temporarily disappoint those who prefer you small, so you can finally honor the spiritual giant God has placed within you. Are you ready to make this courageous choice and allow God to use you in the extraordinary way He always intended? Share in the comments if you felt this calling growing within you, this tension between remaining in familiar roles and pursuing a higher purpose. Your experiences will encourage other Tauruses going through the same process of spiritual liberation. Subscribe to the channel now, because what God is doing in your life is just the beginning of an extraordinary journey of purpose and fulfillment. You'll need guidance on how to navigate the coming family changes, how to maintain loving relationships while establishing new boundaries, and how to fulfill your divine mission without carrying unnecessary guilt. Turn on notifications to receive all the spiritual support you deserve during this sacred transition. God has already decided it's time for you to fulfill your true destiny. The energetic separation from your family is happening because He loves you too much to allow you to continue living a diminished version of the extraordinary life that was always possible for you. Trust the process, embrace the transformation, and prepare to discover who you truly are when you are no longer limited by other people's expectations and fears. Your true family, those who will support and celebrate your divine mission, is waiting to meet you on the other side of this liberation.